Hi, this is Greg from Ostera Corporation, and I'm here to walk you through how to bring a DXF file in and make it an overlay for your part. First step, go to your M3, click on the Open, and find your part that you want to import, the DXF file. Ostera Part DXF, I'm going to hit Open. Here we have our layers turned on. Right now I know my part's a single layer part. I don't need to set any layers. My units are in inches. My scaling is already 1:1, so I didn't change anything. I don't need to mirror my part. I'm going to hit Done. And there's my part. As we see here, the part's pretty clean. And the best thing to do before you bring a part in is to clean it up as best you can and just bring in the actual part, the two-dimensional part itself that you want to measure or feature you want to measure in there. If you do bring it in with dimensions, and you're going to be cleaning up a lot of stray marks and a lot of stray things inside the part that you don't want inside the actual profile. In case you do, the way you get rid of it, you can just put a square around stuff, like say this area here. I want to get rid of this text. All I have to do is press down my left mouse button and then drag a rectangle around my part. You can see everything's highlighted there. If you want to get rid of it, you hit delete. And there's my part. The next thing you want to do is set a datum on your profile. To do that, we're going to click on the datum button over here. And set a datum, you just pick, I'm going to go with the lower left here, so you pick some opposite geometries to kind of line that up. So I'm going to go with the top left and the bottom here and hit done. And there I have my datum point for my part. The next thing I want to do is make a profile out of it. So to make the profile, I'm going to click on my profile button here. And the same way I got rid of the geometry before, I'm going to select this geometry here by left clicking, holding down that mouse button, and making a rectangle around my part, letting go when my rectangle is finished, and then I'm going to hit done. Now it says the measurement failed. The reason that happened is this. Before you can export a profile, you have to get rid of the datum over here. So to do that, we're going to pick everything, again, like we did earlier with the mouse button. But before I go, I'm going to hit profile again, and then pick everything. And before I save my part, I'm going to go over here and click on datum, make sure that doesn't get pulled into my profile. And there we go. So now we didn't get the error. Again, before we move on, we want to get rid of this datum over here. Click on that, hit delete again, and there's my part. So once you have a profile, you want to put some tolerances on it. To do that, we're going to click inside the part window here. Well, not the part window, but the DOR window where dimensions are. Going to hit this button until it says tolerance. All right, so tolerance is there. Click down here on the profile button and put in the tolerances over here. Again, I can click over here. This is the tolerance when I use 5 thousandths. If I click on it once, it puts it in there. So it's our plus or minus here. If I want to put a different dimension in, I just have to click inside here and type it in manually, either with the keypad, or I could also do it over here. Once I'm done, I'm going to hit the done button here. I'm going to hit done again. Wait a moment till this comes up and hit done once more. Go back here in my part window. Let's take a look. And inside here we can see that I've got 3 different lines now. The blue is my nominal, which is how I imported the part, and the plus and the minus is left and the right here. You can change the way this looks differently right here by going down to this button over here, the size off button. In the case of this, I like to have the yellow where my light is shining through, just visually telling me, hey, this is where my part's really getting measured with the light. So zooming in, if I look over here, it's on the inside. Those are my circles. I know those are on the inside for my part. But if I look at this one here, it's on the outside, even though I know my inside is what's getting measured here. So to flip it, to tell the geometry, tell the drawing where the white is actually coming from, or where it should be coming from in this part, I'm going to make sure this is highlighted down here. And I'm just going to click on the part and wait a moment, and it's going to flip that yellow to the inside. Go over here, it's done there. A couple more I can do it here. I can click on this and possibly do it multiply here. Let's see what happens. zoom in, zoom in. So what you can do, as long as that's light active, you can click on the ones that need to be changed. And if you're not fast enough, like I wasn't, didn't catch it, so on this one I'm going to have to do it once more here. Highlight the button, click on it here. Here we've got it flipped. Still active over here. We'll flip it again. Again, I'm just clicking on the geometry. Flipped. And we'll do it here. Flip that one. And that one's good. All right, so now we're done. We'll go here. It's still on the outside. Now that my part is finished here, my profile, I want to export it and make a DXF file out of it, which in this case will be a overlay DXF. I'm going to click over here on data and go down to the bottom here where it says output. Click on that. I'm going to hit DXF, and it's going to ask me to name my part. If you've already got some parts in there, you can use the existing ones that you have, but if it's the first time you're doing it, go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call it Starrett Part 2. And to help out with the alignment once you bring it in, there's a little trick here. If you type in exclamation point and the letters UCS and another exclamation point after the part name, when it brings it in, it's going to automatically align it with the corner of the part that you're bringing in. And we'll see how an advantage, what kind of advantage that is here in a bit. So once you give a part name, type in the exclamation point UCS, hit save. Okay, at this point, we've got our saved overlay that we're going to use. I'm going to hit the M3 and go to new part. I'm going to say yes. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a skew and a datum for my actual part that I have here on my stage right now. So I'm going to hit the datum skew. So for my skew, I'm going to go ahead and click this side there. Hit done. Going to make a line down here for this corner. And now I'm going to make a datum. Go click my part window here. To make my datum, I'll hit the datum button again. And I'm just going to put a square around these two edges of these parts, or these lines I've made. There we have it. Okay, so now that I have that set up, the next thing I'm going to do is bring in my overlay. To bring in the overlay, we're going to go down here to the iMeasure tool. Click on that. I'm just going to click on the overlay button. And then click on it, long press on it for a moment, and it's going to bring our list of parts up. And we're going to call it Starrett Part 2. That's what I called this one. Hit open. And we see it's lined up with our part here. Automatically, and if we zoom out, we see it's over here. But if I wanted to go with my part, because I've done this, I can move my stage, and with this button here, you can kind of see it's pinned right now. That means it's pinned to my part, just like it would be on one of your older overlay machines that you may have. If I move my part, my overlay moves with the part. We look at our part. We can see on some of these there's some little feathers, some little whiskers we call them. If I zoom in over here, that's just telling me, hey, my part might be out of alignment here. But more reality is I've probably got some crap on my stage, and that's what's picking up right there. So, you know, having a good stage, a nice clean stage to start with, is also a nice prerequisite. Sometimes when you zoom in and out, this happens. To bring it back, we go to our zoom button. Let's go 1 to 1, and we're back to where we were. You can kind of see here. Again, it's just kind of give you a visual look here at how close my part is to what my tolerances were. So on this one here, looks good. Scroll down here. My outside looks pretty good. So if it's out of tolerance anywhere, that's where you see the red line. But as I move, the red line can move a little bit. So you can kind of see in this one, when I move a little bit this way, that way. That's just basically the overlay moving with the, moving with the part right there. give it a second to stabilize, and you'll see how close it is right there. And this is just like an overlay would be on your older comparators that didn't have a camera system on it. We can kind of see here what's telling me, hey, maybe my part's a little bit out here. And from there, we can do a more precise measurement with the part to see how close we are. It's a quick check. Once you make this overlay, it stays in the system for your part. So all you'd have to do is bring your part back in, put another part in the stage, set up your skew and your datum, and you can go ahead and bring this overlay back in and see how close it is to that part.